Tonight on To The Point.
Tracking valley showers and Sierra snowfall. How long this wet weather will remain in the forecast.
Plus, Trump's new executive order impacting transgender athletes.
It is seeking to erase transgender people.
Where California's sports governing bodies stand tonight. And are the president's actions legal?
There will be constitutional challenges to what the president's trying to do.
And in a special investigation,
there's hundreds of calls about illegal dumping in North Sacramento going to the city, but the problem still remains. Tonight, what's being done to address the issue?
Good evening. Thank you for joining us on To The Point. I'm Becca Habiger in for Alex Bell. We start tonight with the latest storm bringing rain and heavy snow to Northern California. Rain in the valley today causing creek and river levels to rise. We're going to show you some video here of the Sacramento River at River Road in West Sacramento. Now, areas around the Yolo Causeway were also inundated with water this morning. You can see there trees around the road almost halfway covered with water, and rain and snow are leading to slick road conditions. Here's a look at I-80 near Donner Lake and Highway 50 at Myers near South Lake Tahoe. Now, tonight we have team coverage with ABC 10's Garshpal Sangha in the Sierra tracking conditions. But first, let's get to meteorologist Carly Gomez monitoring the storm.
All right, what we're seeing now is a lot of the heavier rain that we saw earlier in the day and even early this afternoon is now shifting into our foothill spots with Sierra snow elevations a lot higher now as opposed to earlier this morning. We're going to continue to see that as we still have some warmer temperatures up in the Sierra. Now we're currently tracking a few more of these scattered showers, and it will get lighter as we move into our overnight hours, at least for the valley showers and the foothill showers. Meanwhile, areas of the Sierra will expect to see some heavier snowfall even into early Friday morning. Our precipitation since midnight, we're looking at anywhere from about 0.15 of an inch up to a ½ inch of rain in Sacramento, 3/4 of an inch in Marysville, and we are pushing as much as almost about 9/10 of an inch near Oroville, 1 inch there in Ukiah. Now a wind advisory in effect until 1 a.m. for these strong winds coming in out of the southeast. As we take a look here, we've been looking at them picking up about 15 to 20 miles per hour, heavy and gusty at times. As we look at our peak wind gusts today, up to 45-mile-per-hour wind gusts in Placerville so far, almost 40 in Sacramento, with similar numbers for Stockton, Modesto, 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts there in San Francisco today. Now through tonight, we will be looking at our temperatures right around the mid to low 50s. So again, very warm still, even as we get close to midnight. A lot of cloud coverage, a lot of rain, more scattered showers, and look into our morning hours. We start to see most of the showers at least leaving the region, and still a few of them remaining right around 8 a.m. with 45 degrees. Tomorrow, looking at temperatures around the mid-50s. We'll talk more about what to expect in the Sierra and how your weekend is looking ahead.
Carly, thank you. Well, rain, wind, and snow are causing wet and hazardous conditions for travel. So tonight, we're catching up with ABC 10's Garshpal Sangha, who joins us live from I-80 in Soda Springs. Garshpal, what are the conditions like now?
Yeah, Becca, we were expecting snow here in Soda Springs, about 6,600 feet here in the Soda Springs area, but instead we're getting that rain, and the rain isn't too bad at this point. The problem is it's the strong wind gust that comes along with it here, but let's go and show you down here. It's that snow rain mix that crews have been dealing with here on the roadway, so that is the concern. But let's go and show you video what it looked like just earlier today, and it was that heavy snow that we were dealing with. So that was good news for ski resorts, and at times they had to keep the trucks down near the Nevada-California state line because of just how strong the wind was. But right now traffic is moving pretty well here on I-80. Right now chain controls are only in effect for eastbound from Kingville all the way to Truckee, but outside of that they actually had taken off the chain controls, but right now they have put them back on. So Caltrans is saying come tomorrow things should be able to clear up, but right now we're hoping that this rain, it's just too warm for this rain to turn into snow, but they're hoping in a few hours all this rain should turn into snow. So again, that's good news for ski resorts, good news for reservoirs, but we were expecting snow, but for the time being, we're getting rain. Reporting live from Soda Springs, Garshpal Sangha, ABC 10.
And Garshpal, we appreciate your hard work out there. Try and dry off, and thank you for showing us the conditions there so people can drive safely in this weather. Now, our weather coverage doesn't end here. You can also stream the latest weather news and extended forecast on the free ABC 10 Plus app, wherever you get your streaming TV apps. Now, tonight, President Trump's plan to push out federal employees by offering them financial incentives has been temporarily paused by a federal judge. 2 million federal workers were given the choice to quit and get paid through September or potentially face being fired. As of Wednesday morning, White House officials had reported more than 40,000 federal workers had accepted the buyout. And the buyouts are a part of work being done by Elon Musk as he looks to cut government spending under President Trump's direction. The judge is set to consider whether to halt the buyout offer further on Monday. Another action by the Trump administration is sending shockwaves through the world of high school and college athletics. Yesterday, President Trump issued an executive order banning transgender women and girls from college women's and high school girls' sports teams. Schools that disobey this order risk losing federal funding. So we asked, how is California responding?
President Trump's executive order issued Wednesday says in recent years, many educational institutions and athletic associations have allowed men to compete in women's sports. This denies women and girls the equal opportunity to participate and excel in competitive sports. By men, Trump is referring to transgender women and girls.
Kids should have the right to play with their friends, regardless of the sex or the gender.
Alexis Sanchez with the Sacramento LGBT Community Center says Trump's executive order is disappointing.
It is seeking to erase transgender people.
Citing Title IX of the Education Amendments Act of 1972, Trump is ordering enforcement actions be taken against schools that require female students to compete with or against or to appear unclothed before males, saying any K-12 school or college disobeying this risks losing federal funding.
These trans sports bans are based in transphobia.
Last month, according to The Athletic, National Collegiate Athletic Association President Charlie Baker said at a congressional hearing that of the more than 500,000 college athletes across the nation, fewer than 10 publicly identify as transgender. In a statement responding to Trump's executive order, Baker said, "We strongly believe that clear, consistent, and uniform eligibility standards would best serve today's student athletes. To that end, President Trump's order provides a clear national standard," adding the NCAA is reviewing the executive order and will take necessary steps to align NCAA policy in the coming days. The California Interscholastic Federation, CIF, which governs high school sports in the state, is taking another approach, saying they comply with California law, which permits students to participate in athletic teams and competitions consistent with the student's gender identity, irrespective of the gender listed on the student's records.
There will be constitutional challenges.
Constitutional expert Leslie Jacobs is Anthony Kennedy Professor of Law at University of the Pacific's McGeorge School of Law. We asked her if Trump has the power to take away school funding, since Congress has the so-called power of the purse.
Congress is the one who appropriates money for particular purposes. Okay, the president then implements the law, but he is required to spend the money that Congress appropriates. One of the statutes that Congress has written is Title IX, which says no discrimination in educational institutions that receive federal funds. And so the focus of the trans athlete executive order is an interpretation of Congress's statute, what the meaning of sex discrimination is.
She anticipates this will be challenged all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court.
Now, already, just today, the U.S. Department of Education announced it's investigating 2 universities and an athletic association for reports of them allowing trans women on female sports teams. One of those schools is San Jose State University for allegedly allowing a trans woman onto the volleyball team. And according to a new poll from the New York Times, few Americans think transgender female athletes should be allowed to compete in women's sports. Of more than 2,100 people surveyed, 79% said they should not be allowed to compete. 18% said they should. The remaining people surveyed did not answer the question. And ABC 10 is breaking down this third week of the second Trump administration and its impact on California, talking about Newsom's visit to Washington, wildfires, immigration, tariffs, and more. You can stream the Trump's California impact right now on the home screen of the ABC 10 Plus TV streaming app. Well, still ahead on To the Point, neighbors concerned about trash piling up in North Sacramento. Tonight, what's being done to address the issue? Plus, a strain of bird flu detected in dairy cattle for the first time. What this could mean for cases in humans.
Temperatures currently sitting in the mid-50s to upper 50s in the valley. How low they could drop tonight and how much rain and snow is still on the way.
ABC 10 meteorologist Carly Gomez joins us on another weather impact alert day. Tell us what we should know.
Yeah, all that heavy rain, those showers will start slowing for the valley, but we'll still be looking at some of that heavy snow in the Sierra even through tomorrow morning, even adding up to the piles we've already gotten this morning. This impact alert in effect throughout today, through at least early morning, I should say Friday. So really it's just all Thursday into the wee early hours of Friday. And we are seeing valley rain and mountain snow, but also gusty winds really kicking up now. We're especially starting to see them continue into our foothill spots and the Sierra as we speak. Your need is to drive very safe tonight. If you have plans, you may want to even postpone travel at least through tonight. If you have to head out, just make sure you're watching exactly where you're going, the necessity, especially if it's over the Sierra. You're probably going to see a lot of at least slipping, sliding, that kind of thing happening. Right now, a low pressure system is sitting right overhead and is kicking up the winds from the southeast, from the south, moving to the northeast here. And what we're expecting to see is more of these showers hitting our foothill spots. But notice that the Sierra here is getting a pretty warm blast of that rain. So snow levels have risen significantly as of this hour. As we start getting some of this colder air behind it coming in, we'll start to see those snow levels dropping right back down into the early morning hours of our Friday. Winter storm warning in effect until noon on Friday. We are seeing snowfall, still accumulations as much as maybe 6 to 10 inches left, and the European model also showing some similar numbers there. Now, with our high-resolution futurecast, as we start getting to about 1:30 a.m., most of the showers remain for the foothills and the Sierra. Meanwhile, right behind it, we're only getting a few scattered showers left into our morning commute. Otherwise, we'll start to see things clearing out for us as we move into Friday night. Looking at rain totals remaining, we're only about a quarter, maybe a tenth to a quarter inch left, half inch near Grass Valley. And then finally, as we move into our temperatures for our foothills, we'll be seeing those mid-40s to low 40s, Twain Harte and Groveland, overnight lows in the mid-30s with 40s overnight in Angels Camp. Over the next few days into your Super Bowl weekend, we're looking at a wonderful weekend ahead. Beautiful for skiing and snowboarding, mid-50s out there, overnight lows in the mid-30s, a little chilly. Starting your work week off pretty good as well. And then by midweek, we'll start seeing more shower chances arriving again toward the following weekend.
Carly, thank you so much. Well, next on To The Point, hundreds of calls about illegal dumping in North Sacramento. Tonight, in a special investigation, what's being done to address it? Plus, new details in the Los Angeles wildfires, what might have caused the Hearst fire in Sylmar. Well, neighbors in North Sacramento say they are sick and tired of being used as a dumping ground. Literally, they see piles of trash and unwanted items left in their neighborhood by people who refuse to dispose of it properly. Now, after countless pleas for help to the city, these neighbors tell ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen they're fed up and calling for change. Tonight, Jeannie shares with us their concerns and how the city is responding.
Ramona Landeros has called North Sacramento home since the 1970s. She and her family have worked hard to establish roots in the Del Paso Heights neighborhood. But seeing her home be a dumping ground is a difficult reality to face.
They're dumping everything from refrigerators to furniture, anything that they don't want to pay for at the dump. We basically get it in our neighborhoods.
Public records show 2 zip codes saw a majority of illegal dumping calls to 311 for nearly 2 years.
There's little trash piles everywhere.
The city received more than 3,100 inquiries in 95838 and more than 2,600 to the 95815 zip code.
These are one of many down the street.
These areas are typically considered low income and have a large non-English speaking community.
Just because we live in Del Paso Heights doesn't mean we don't care. It doesn't mean that we're going to accept this.
The city received 237 calls of illegal dumping along Rio Linda Boulevard in the span of 2 years, 161 reports on Harris Avenue, and 135 reports on Roanoke Avenue.
You know, I can be driving down Del Paso Boulevard here and everything's fine, and then later in the afternoon there's already a pile of garbage there. People do it in broad daylight.
Our team caught people dumping illegally in broad daylight on Rio Linda Boulevard.
Everybody has a little garden across the street. We all take our time out to come and cultivate our flowers and our plants.
The Altos Avenue neighborhood garden is a point of pride for Nancy Azevedo, but it wasn't always the case.
In the past year, this dumping just became outrageous, and it's just so disgusting.
She and her neighbors have called 311 many times and brought their issues to city council meetings. Records show there were more than 100 calls to 311 about illegal dumping on Altos Avenue. Azevedo believes the city prioritizes certain neighborhoods over others.
Well, our taxes aren't as high as, say, Land Park, so we don't get as much services. Well, that just doesn't seem right to us, so we've organized.
Azevedo formed her own cleanup crew who also maintains this neighborhood garden. While the city reimburses for some cleanup efforts and acknowledged Azevedo with this certificate for taking initiative, she and other residents feel the city does not follow through on 311 calls and are calling for more accountability.
It doesn't seem like the city cares because we don't feel that they're doing enough for our community. They've got to start doing something, whatever it takes. You know, they kind of depend on people to call it in, and people don't want to get involved because they're afraid of retaliation.
Even though residents here in North Sacramento are fed up with all of the illegal dumping, city officials do say there are deterrents in place to try to curb the problem.
We have cameras which are located around the city, and we'll kind of identify a hotspot and then put a camera there.
The city's Public Works Department says it relies on people reporting dumping issues to 311, and crews aim to address the problem within 3 days.
People who do call those in can get up to $1,000. So $500 to $1,000 could be awarded to someone who gives us information leading to a citation or some kind of administrative penalty being given to an illegal dumper.
But the city acknowledges there is a problem primarily in North Sacramento, the District 2 area, adding that the people doing the dumping usually live within the neighborhood.
Kind of focusing our efforts there, focusing cameras there, focusing advertising so that people know to call into 311 and feel empowered to call about their own neighborhood.
A longtime resident of District 2 himself, Councilmember Roger Dickinson says he understands the ongoing issues his neighborhood has experienced over the years.
I've suggested the idea of even having the city assign a refuse truck that would just tour through neighborhoods that are victimized by illegal dumping and just be there to pick it up when it happens.
He says he'll be working to make some long-term and effective changes and promises residents will see changes soon.
It's about time, and now we see something for the better happening.
And with a large Hispanic community in the area, Dickinson says he'll work on making resources available for Spanish speakers. All of this in hopes of taking back the neighborhood they love.
We want them to be proud of the neighborhood they live in and feel like, hey, I like living in my neighborhood.
We have some great community here, great neighbors, great neighborhoods, a lot of families that really do care about their homes.
In North Sacramento, Jeannie Nguyen, ABC 10.
The city currently has 5 code officers for city waste issues and is in the process of hiring one other. Again, the city urges residents to report illegal dumping to 311. Links on how to do that can be found on our website. That's abc10.com. Well, new details tonight in the Los Angeles wildfires. SoCal Edison says their equipment likely started the Hearst fire in the Sylmar area. It sparked the same day as the deadly Palisades and Eaton fires, which killed at least 29 people. The utility also said it's looking into whether an idle transmission line became energized and possibly sparked the Eaton fire. They say there's no evidence so far. Damage caused by the LA wildfires in January could now cost up to $165 billion. That's according to a new analysis from UCLA. The university's School of Management found that total property and capital losses could range between $95 billion and $164 billion, with insured losses estimated at $75 billion. Well, tonight, federal regulators say a strain of bird flu has been detected in dairy cattle for the first time. The Department of Agriculture made the discovery at a Nevada cattle farm. The strain, known as D1.1, had been primarily spreading amongst birds until now. Officials say it's the same strain that killed a Louisiana man in January. He was exposed to the virus through contact with domestic birds in his backyard. Experts warn that as the virus spreads among animals, the likelihood of more human cases increases.
That is a concern because it shows that there's persistent risk of bird flu in cows and to the people that work closely with them.
While other severe human cases have been associated with this strain, scientists are still working to understand how the various types may impact animal and human infections. The CDC says the risk to the general public remains low and that there is no evidence of human-to-human spread. Now, according to the CDC, there have been 67 confirmed human infections of bird flu. 38 of those cases were reported here in California. Most all of them were farm workers and caused by exposure to cattle. Next on To The Point, there's some new technology at Sacramento International Airport, how it could help you get through security faster. But today, TSA unveiled new mobile driver's license readers at Sacramento International Airport. If you have downloaded your driver license onto your phone with the DMV app, you'll be able to scan and move on. Well, thank you so much for watching us and inviting us into your home. To The Point doesn't end here. To watch stories featured on the show, download our free ABC 10 Plus app wherever you stream.